There is someone in almost every social circle. You probably know exactly who I mean the moment I describe them. They are the one who always wants to know what you paid for the car, for the vacation, for the apartment. They want to know what you tip at restaurants, how often you eat out, what you consider a normal amount to spend on a birthday gift. They ask these questions with a casualness that doesn't quite land, because underneath the casual tone is something else entirely, a constant, restless measurement, a need to locate themselves on a financial map relative to everyone around them. And here is the thing, this person is not always broke. Sometimes they earn well, sometimes they earn very well, but it makes no difference to the behavior. The probing continues, the measurement continues, the restlessness continues, because the issue was never the money. The issue is the assumption, the inner position from which they relate to wealth, and that position, regardless of the number in the account, is one of someone for whom money is never settled, never resolved, always a live question that needs to be monitored, compared, defended. You have met this person. You understand intuitively the moment I describe them that their relationship with money is anxious, that no amount will fix it, that the number could double tomorrow and the behavior would remain, because the behavior is not a response to the number. It is a response to the assumption. Now hold that image, because the person we are training you to become is the precise opposite. Not someone with more money, someone with a different inner position. And the clearest way I can describe that position, the one Neville Goddard pointed to, the one that philosophical idealism tells us is the actual causal layer of financial reality, is this single word, normal. Not exciting, not relieved, not grateful in the way someone is grateful when something they feared might not happen finally did happen. Normal, the way your own kitchen feels normal, the way your own voice sounds normal to you, the way the weight of your own body in a chair feels normal. You do not notice it. You do not comment on it. You do not compare it. It simply is that quality, that unremarkable, unannounced, undefended normalcy applied to financial abundance. That is the target state. That is what the subconscious, once trained to occupy it, will project faithfully into the outer world. Now here is what most people get wrong when they first attempt this. They aim for the wrong feeling. They aim for the feeling of getting it, the rush of a large deposit, the excitement of a breakthrough, the relief of a debt finally cleared. And these feelings are real and they are good, but they are the feelings of someone crossing a finish line they were not sure they would reach. They still carry the psychology of someone for whom wealth was not certain, for whom it was a question that got answered. The person you are assuming today has no finish line to cross, because for them, this was never a race. Think of it this way. If you ask someone who has always lived in a beautiful home how it feels to live in a beautiful home, they look at you slightly blankly, not because they are ungrateful, because the question doesn't quite compute. It is like asking someone how it feels to have their own name. The question assumes a novelty that is not present. It has simply always been true. And things that have always been true do not produce feelings. They produce normalcy. That is your target, not the feeling of arriving, the feeling of having always been here. Now, what does a clean rep actually look and feel like in practice? Because this is where the technique matters. A clean rep is not a visualization. It is not a mental movie you play behind your eyes. It is not an affirmation you repeat until it feels true. It is a state you inhabit from the inside, the way you inhabit your own body without performing it, without maintaining it, without checking whether it is still there. A clean rep has one quality above all others. It is unremarkable to the person doing it. If you are trying hard, you are not in the state. If you are monitoring whether it is working, you are not in the state. If you feel proud of yourself for feeling it, you have just stepped outside it. The state does not produce self-consciousness. It produces the absence of it. This is what lightweight, perfect form means at session 3. We are not going for the heavy lift tonight. We are going for the movement pattern so clean, so natural, so correctly formed that the subconscious can build on it in every session that follows. One rep held cleanly, that is the whole session. In a moment, the music will begin and I will guide you into the state. Tonight, the scene is specific, simple, ordinary in exactly the right way. You are somewhere reputable, a store you trust, the kind of place with good lighting and easy returns. Somewhere you have been before and felt comfortable. You have seen something you want, not a luxury item requiring deliberation. Something reasonable, something that fits easily into your life, and you buy it without checking the price against alternatives, without the mental calculation that runs the purchase through your available balance, without the voice that asks whether you really need it or whether you should wait. You simply decide yes. And the transaction happens easily, the way transactions happen for someone for whom this is simply Tuesday. The rep is not the purchase. The rep is the state you are in while making it, the absence of the second voice, the absence of the calculation, the ease that lives in the body of someone for whom this is simply how things go. One moment, one decision, held cleanly in the body. That is the whole session. Find your position. Close your eyes when the music begins. Let the countdown bring you in. 10. Arriving here, the day already further away. 9. Breath coming on its own, nothing to control. 8. The body beginning to release. It knows what comes next. 7. Sounds moving to the background. You are moving inward. 6. Weight growing. Heaviness spreading, safe. 5. The thinking mind stepping back, thoughts passing without catching. 4. Deeper. The space between thoughts widening naturally. 3. The analytical mind quiet now. 2. The last trace of the day releasing. 1. Here. still, open, the body softening now without instruction. It has learned this, the feet and legs releasing, the hips and lower back giving their weight back to the surface beneath you, the stomach loosening, the chest opening, the shoulders descending, the hands warm and still, the jaw releasing, the face emptying, the crown of the head quiet, one field, heavy, switched off, at rest, the breath finding its own rhythm. Each exhale a small movement further in, the body becoming background, awareness becoming foreground. You are at the threshold, the place where the subconscious is fully open, where feeling registers as fact, where the state you occupy becomes the instruction the inner mind executes without question. You have been here before. The body recognizes it. Let it deepen on its own. Now let a moment arrive, not constructed by you, not placed there deliberately, simply allowed to surface the way images surface in the moments before sleep. Already happening, already real, requiring nothing from you except your quiet presence inside them. A moment of deciding something you want. The details are already known to your subconscious. It will fill them in correctly without your direction. What matters is not where you are. What matters is what is absent in that moment. The pause that usually precedes a purchase. The internal negotiation that runs beneath the surface. Checking, comparing, calculating, finally and reluctantly permitting. The contraction in the chest that accompanies money leaving your hands. Notice that none of that is present now, just the decision, arriving easily, completely, without the weight it used to carry. Feel that absence in the body, not as something you are creating, as something you are noticing, the way you notice the absence of a sound that has finally stopped. A quiet that was always possible but rarely present. The transaction is unremarkable. Let that word land somatically, not as a concept, but as a physical state, somewhere in the chest. A settledness, in the hands, a warmth without tension, in the breath, a rhythm undisturbed by what just happened. Because what just happened was ordinary. For this version of you, it has always been ordinary. Stay here. Let the body deepen into this ordinariness, not reaching for it, not maintaining it, simply inhabiting it the way you inhabit your own skin, without effort, without awareness of the effort. Because there is no effort to be aware of. This is the state, not the scene. The scene is simply a window into it. What lives beneath it, steady, unannounced, requiring nothing to maintain it, is the assumption, the felt sense of a self for whom financial ease is simply the background condition of living. Let that assumption become slightly more familiar with each breath, not stronger, familiar, the way your own name is familiar. The way the weight of your own body in stillness is familiar, the way things are familiar when they have simply always been true. And underneath the feeling, underneath the scene, and the sensations and the quiet of the body, something more fundamental is present. This is what Goddard meant by assumption, not a decision made by the will, a state occupied by consciousness. And consciousness, your consciousness, is the only reality from which your outer world is built. What you are feeling now is not a rehearsal for a future state. It is the state. Already here, already real, already the ground you are standing on. This is registering now, completely, at a level beneath language and beneath thought. The body knows, the inner mind knows. No part of you needs to confirm it. Stay here a moment longer. Let it be unremarkable. Let it be normal. That is the complete instruction. That is the whole rep. Now the words that match what is already here, not repeated for effect, received as recognition. Money moves through my life without drama. I decide without the second voice. Ease is my baseline. Transactions are unremarkable. The contraction is gone. The monitoring is gone. The comparison is gone. What remains is a self for whom wealth is simply the condition of living. Not exciting, not hard-won, not celebrated, normal, the way the best things always feel once they have truly arrived. I am not performing this. I am inhabiting it. From the inside, right now, already. Now let the body hold everything the session has given it. The subconscious has received something tonight that years of wanting could not deliver. A felt experience of the target state, held cleanly, without effort, without performance. That is the first clean rep. And in the hours and days that follow this session, without looking for it, without manufacturing it, you may notice something has shifted in the way ordinary moments feel. A decision made slightly more easily than before. A transaction completed without the familiar weight. A moment that would once have carried a cost inside and doesn't anymore. You will not create these moments. They will simply appear because the state you trained tonight is already the ground you are standing on, already executing, already projecting outward the way consciousness always projects, faithfully, precisely, without exception. Rest now. Let the music carry you from here. No more direction needed. No more effort required. The work is done. The state holds itself. Let it become slightly more familiar than it was an hour ago. Slightly more yours. Slightly more simply who you are.